Hello everyone, my name is JCRP and you're watching Kalakar Makerspace videos. I have a linear actuator here in my hand. This can exert up to 100 kilograms of force. It runs with a small motor and I want to make press out of it. Usually people use hydraulic machines, the one that can lift or lower down a car to make a hydraulic press. But because I have this in hand, I thought why not go ahead and make a press out of it. I'll explain you what a linear actuator is and I'll run you through the process of building this press. So let's go ahead and get started. I began the project by gathering all the materials. This is a C-beam that I used in the previous project and there are other square tubes over there. The C-beam is almost 6 mm thick. I begin by loading the C-beam to the chop saw. I measure a distance of 24 inches, that is 2 feet, because I want to keep a material around 18 to 19 inches. So 2 feet was the right choice. The chop saw cuts very easily through the 6 mm C-beam, but provided it is kept in a vertical angle where it doesn't have to cut through the flat surface. So when the flat surface comes, I turn the piece and then I begin the cut again. This way I'm able to get cleaner cuts. Here's the first piece that is ready. Similarly, I cut another piece for the bottom portion. Before welding, I make sure to remove all the rust and paint marks so that the welding adheres very nice. This is a 30 by 30 1.2 mm square tubing and I am just grinding the corners to give a little bit of a bevel so that when I weld this piece to the C-beam, it gives a really good connection. This press is going to undergo a lot of pressure, so the welding joints have to remain really strong. I set the first piece and Shiva here is measuring and seeing if it is square while I just tack it in place. And as you see, if I weld on one side, it tends to pull the material to that side, and that's why I need help so he can drag the piece to the center and then I can finish the second tack weld. After checking again, I can go ahead and complete the entire weld. After each weld, I grind the joints to see if I done a really good job. If not, then I go ahead and try to weld it again. In this case, I had to weld the joints 2 times. Now the bottom portion is done. For the top portion, I saw the two pipes were twisted a little bit. So I used these 40 mm pipes to clamp them together so that they stay in line. So if you see from this angle, you can clearly see that both of them are parallel to each other and not twisted. Earlier it was really twisted and this clamps really helped. With that clamps in place, I can go ahead and weld the bottom portion. Because it's kept in an inverted position, I can weld both the poles at the same time. Again, I followed the same process of welding, checking if the weld has been done good. Then I chip it off, grind it and then weld it again. After it's done, I can remove the clamps and now it is really sturdy and just in the right place. You can see here the welds are done, and because I put those clamps earlier, now it is straight. To make the hydraulic press stand in any surface, I need to give them legs. For the legs, I am using this L-shaped bar. This is also around 5 mm thick. I just butt joint it to the sides and then I can weld the corners. Both the C-beam and the L-shaped bar are really thick materials, so I cranked up the welding machine to 120 amps and then I started welding. Because this is going to endure a lot of pressure, I went ahead and welded all the joints twice. After welding, again I chip out to see if the welding has come good. This is not a very great welding, but it will do the job and it is plenty strong. Here is a look on both the sides. To attach the linear actuator to the hydraulic press, I am going to use the small putty. This will get welded to the frame. Before that, I have to drill some holes, so I am using a 8 mm drill bit to drill the holes. So what is a linear actuator actually? We've heard this name when we work with CNC machines, but what exactly is it? You know, in CNC machines we need to go in forward and reverse directions or up and down. In essentially all these places an actuator is used. And the linear actuators are run by two motors essentially. One is a stepper and another is a brushed motor. In a stepper motor, we can definitely count the number of steps, so we can say go ahead by 50 mm or 100 mm, but in a brushed motor it doesn't happen. This linear actuator that you are seeing runs with a brushed motor, and that's why when I change the angle of the switch or the power supply, it just moves forward or backward or just stops. Essentially, in all linear actuators, the way it moves forward or backward is through a threaded rod. Even in this linear actuator, there is a threaded rod inside that rotates, and essentially it moves the piston up or down. This is a concealed one that does not let the dust go inside, but there are other ones which we use in CNC machines where you can actually see the threaded rod. Let's take a look at the wire connection, how I am able to make this go up and down. This switch is called as a SPDT switch. It has two terminals on one side. Like that we have 1, 2, 3 pairs. So the output which goes to the actuator is kept in the middle. The power supply comes from here and it goes to plus and minus. So if I basically switch it on, the plus and plus will get connected, the minus and minus will connected, and it will go in one direction. Whereas here I have taken a wire and then I have inverted it. So the plus terminal from here goes to the plus terminal here, and the minus goes to minus here. So when I actually change the switch, it goes from forward direction to reverse direction because I have essentially changed the direction of the connection. And of course, I cannot stop the machine. For that, I will have to switch off the main power. I hope that was understandable. Let's go and complete the build. By placing the linear actuator in the center, I am able to put a M8 bolt through the hole that is provided with the linear actuator, and then I can put the putty in which I drilled the holes. After I put the nut, I'll just move it to the top of the frame and then attach it with the clamp. The clamp is just holding the piece in place so that I can get a gist of how it sets. Then I can go ahead and weld the joint permanently. Because this is not a load bearing one, I did not go ahead and completely weld it. I just gave it tacks so that it will just stay in place. The linear actuator will push itself against the surface, so there is absolutely no need for a really good weld. And now for some crushing videos. This is a small paint container we first tried crushing. As you can see, the linear actuator moves at a very slow pace but gives a good amount of strength. Then we put a tablet beneath it. The coconut was a total failure. It didn't do any damage to it. So we went ahead with a very soft material, the lemon, and of course the linear actuator just punched through it. You can see the juice fizzing out of the lemon. As you saw in the video, the linear actuator is not really strong, but that doesn't mean that it is a failed build because I was able to get this frame right. This frame is the same thing that we will be using if you put a hydraulic jack, so I will remove this later and then put the hydraulic jack in an inverted position so that we can crank a lot of pressure. I hope from this video you were able to gain some knowledge about how a frame is built and what materials we used. Since we used these C-beams which are almost 6 mm thick, these are plenty strong. I can put a 1-ton hydraulic press on this. I've given all the Instagram links and other links to follow in the description, so please check them out. I hope this video was useful for you. Until next time, happy learning.